Okay, so thanks for attending the session. It was a great session from FMS, and I think we can build on some of the things that were shared. So Reed and myself are going to give you an overview of our new all-in-one facility and some of the benefits that you will gain from it. So you don't have to hear me talk too much, we got a little video that we'd like to show you to start with. If we have sound. John? Okay, well, we'll ad-lib for a while. So in terms of the all-in-one distribution hub in Mississippi, just a little bit of background. It's actually the first of its type in the US. No one else has one of these, and it's only the third of its type in the world. So it is truly groundbreaking in terms of distribution technology. Okay, we'll skip the video. That side. Okay, we're good.
I'm David Smith with AWG, and today is a very exciting day for us because this is the opening of our all-in-one distribution hub in Hernando, Mississippi.
It's really a dream come true. We've worked as an organization for a decade, really, to bring this to fruition.
Just very exciting to hear the future of AWG.
This is a really big deal.
We started looking at consumer trends, and consumers are looking for access to more products, and they're also looking for lower prices. Using the technology of this facility, because it's fully automated, it doesn't drive up costs to have access to more product. That was really the impetus of opening up this all-in-one distribution hub here in Mississippi. All temperature zones, all different types of products in all different methods being shipped together to our stores, and this is the very first one.
Hi, my name is Richard Kearns. I'm the Executive Vice President of Distribution and Logistics. We've been looking for around about 15 years for automation. We looked at a variety of organizations, and we determined after many evaluations that Witron was the best one for our business. Witron really had the ability to combine two things that we needed. We needed the ability to automatically pick grocery cases. We also needed a solution for our each pick items. And Witron were able to bring both of these items together into one facility.
I've had the luck of being able to visit some other warehouses that run Witron automation around the world. This facility blows them away. This is the largest and most advanced North American facility Witron's ever put together.
We're talking an absolutely monstrous project. When we look at this facility, it's nearly 1 million square foot. We built this facility for capacity. We took our initial footprint and we added over 30% in terms of increased volume. We also added over 22% incremental SKUs that we can push through the facility. We'll service over 3,000 of AWG's members from this facility. And we'll also have the ability to service non-members as well. It took a lot of time, effort and planning. It took a total team solution incorporating Witron, consultants, and also our talented team members from within AWG.
Hi, my name is Doug Pickerel. I'm Executive Director of Distribution with AWG. The process here at the new facility is once we receive the trucks, we teach in the item information. It goes through an in-feed station onto the high bay warehouse. Once order previews come in for member orders, we will send those products to defoil. They get depalletized, go to a tray warehouse, ultimately from the tray warehouse to a sequence buffer and through our COM machines, which produces the outbound selection orders for our customers. For the COM orders that we have now, the case order machines, those are primarily case products that will be selected automatically through the COM machine, get automatically wrapped, sent to the outfeed station. and loaded onto the trucks going to outbound retailers. The biggest thing I've learned is when you think automation, you think of robots, and there's still a really good team here in Hernando. From the AWG team, the Witron team, Capstone, Cardinal Transportation, we're all one team to make that happen.
My name is James Newman. I'm with Value Market Grocery Stores out of Louisville, Kentucky, and I've been a member of the board of directors for about 10 years now. This is probably the most exciting day I think I can remember in AWG history. I can't wait until the single pick gets open for the VMC side and we get the refrigerated side going. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The technology that's there for VMC, which is going to be the big benefit for the majority of our members, you're going to have totes that are full. You're not going to be wasting space on trucks, so we're going to take up less space. It's going to drive freight costs down for everybody, have more efficient loads coming in. You know, they're not going to fall over on the truck. They're going to be perfectly stacked, perfectly loaded, more accurate order picks. There are no mistakes. You're going to be using less petrol and fuel because you're shipping more efficient trucks that are cubed out better with less air. And that makes us a better steward of our environment by running a more environmentally friendly facility. There's less packaging, there's less waste, and there's certainly less fuel consumption. Being part of a co-op is so special, especially a co-op as strong and as foresighted as what AWG is. To build a facility like this puts us in a class with the best of class retailers in this country. It's truly a remarkable system when you see all the pieces go together. And the big difference from, visiting some of these other facilities is I got to watch best choice cases go down the line today for the first time. That's impressive. That's what it means to be AWG.
This facility is going to be really groundbreaking for our member stores. It provides a level of sustainability, predictability, and efficiency that we've never had available to them before. And because of that, the demand is so high. As we've gone through COVID since March of 2020, we found that we really needed to have more of this capacity. So while this is our first, this will not be our last. We'll be accelerating to try to open up more facilities like this to supply all of our members at every location we serve. We're on the right foot. Very exciting future for AWG and all of our members.
So 2 things. Firstly, the system actually works better than the video. And secondly, as you can probably tell, none of us won any Oscars for our performances. So let's, in a nutshell, tell you exactly what we're doing. We're building an automated facility, and what we're doing is combining our South Haven facility and also our VMC operations into one. What we're doing is repositioning product across our network. So we're putting our high cube items closer to the market in our regional distribution centers, your Kansas City, your Springfield, your Oklahomas, etc. We're moving our slower mover items into Hernando. We're also putting all of our cigarettes and repack items into Hernando also. So that's kind of the model, and that's where we're going. And we'll also have the opportunity to add some extended variety items as well, which Reed will talk to in a moment. So what are we going to stock? Essentially everything that VMC stocks, your grocery warehouse stocks, and also additional items. So why Witron? You've probably never heard of them. They're actually a German automation company that has been around for about 30 years. They're kind of constructed similar to us. They're a federation, which is really like a co-op in Germany, so they can't be purchased like many of the other automation companies that are out there today, which means it'll provide longevity and no one can take them over and jeopardize our operation with them. As you heard on the video, it gave us the ability to combine each pick and traditional case pick together, and there's very, very few providers that can actually do that in the marketplace today. The other thing is, and I hate putting these logos on the screen here of our competitors, but all of these folks that are listed here chose Witron. They didn't just choose them once, they chose them multiple times. So Kroger have about 7 Witron facilities. Target has 3 Witron facilities. Walmart, unfortunately, have signed up for 7. These guys would not be reinvesting in this type of technology if it didn't work. So rest assured, while it's state-of-the-art, it will work exceptionally well. Now, we are in our infancy in terms of the rollout, so as with any implementation, there are going to be some hiccups in the road, but we are working hard to eradicate those. So this is really what the facility looks like, and I'm going to jump down here and take you around a quick tour if that's okay. So it's just under 1 million square foot. On the left-hand side here, we have what we call the high bay warehouse. This is where all the pallets are stored. As we go into the blue area, that's the OPM, the order picking machine. That's where the tray warehouse is, and that's where all the magic works, the automatic case pick, so selectors don't have to select. The purple area is the AIO, that's the tote area. So that's kind of where all your VMC type pick will go and your smaller cases. The gray area, that's the manual area. Not everything can go through the machine. So think wet produce, think meat because it's too heavy, think bagged goods like potatoes, onions, and no, tomatoes will go through in some packaging. And then we replicate it on the other side. So we have a dry machine, we have a fresh machine, and we also have a frozen machine. At the top, we have a receiving dock, and then at the bottom, we have a refrigerated receiving dock, refrigerated outbound dock. So everything will go through that dock to ensure that we have perfect temperature compliance. The grey areas on either side, the wings, that's land that we have that we can use for expansion if we need to. I'm not going to go through this, but as I think we said on the video, this site is huge. Think of Gulf Coast, Kansas City, but double the height. Here's some of the statistics. I'm not going to go into them all, but there's two things that are very unique in this facility. Number one is we don't have any ammonia refrigeration. Okay, no ammonia at all. We have a state-of-the-art Freon system. There's multiple systems in there. So we eradicate a single point of failure that we would have in a traditional grocery warehouse if, for example, the engine room went down. The other thing is we won't have ammonia releases. In the event there was one, that normally closes the facility down. We won't have that because obviously we've put a lot of our goods under one roof. And then in terms of the dry space, the ambient space, we've actually cooled it. There's two reasons there. One is to provide a better working environment for the folks in Mississippi because it gets a little hot down there. And the second thing is to provide product integrity. We can put chocolates in there, they're not going to melt. So this is just a couple of pictures of the AIO, manual pick, and these are the beautiful pallets that the machine spits out. Perfectly stacked, no damage, and very, very accurate. Okay, let's talk about some of the retail benefits and the operational benefits that we actually get from the system. Again, piggybacking on what FMS said a few moments ago, things are going to get tough. We've got to take dollars out of the operation, and I truly believe that we can help you do that. So the first thing is improve service level. The machine, if we feed the correct stuff into it, will not make mistakes. Okay, it's not a human selecting. The machine will not make mistakes. It will not damage the product. And also because there's strict algorithms in the system, it will rotate it and improve dating. Labor. Does anyone have any labor issues at their stores at the moment? I guess not. We have one or two labor issues, but I think we can help you. When we started delivering from the AIO and delivered trucks into the Mississippi area, what we found was that it was 50% quicker to unload a truck. So if you get 3 trucks a week, multiply that by 52 weeks at a 50% time saving, that's real dollars to your bottom line. That's real dollars or real labor hours that you can actually point into the front of the store to selling more product. In the future, our vision is, because this system will be so accurate, you won't have to check in your load. Hopefully you'll get the confidence that the load comes to you intact, the correct product, and we believe there'll be some significant labor savings there. Aisle-ready pallets. This is the ability for us to provide you product according to your aisles. So give us your planogram and we can actually pick it in that sequence. However, there are limitations. Number 1, crushability. Number 2, food safety. We can't put chemicals over food products. We've got to be careful because of allergens and stuff like that. But we can get it broadly in in the close proximity. And we're actually seeing that today. As we stack pallets in the AIO, what we're finding is all the pops together, all the tissues together, all the canned goods are together. So the system is already doing it partially. As we migrate into the VMC world, we'll have a better tote fill. We believe that there'll be a third less totes come into the back room of your stores because of the layout of the system. It'll fill the totes. So again, less handling of pallets, less handling of totes. That all leads to labor savings for you. And then extended variety, which Reed will talk about in a moment. You know, this thing is does not have pick slots for everything, so it gives us the flexibility to put more items on under one roof. From an operational benefit, this is from our side, AWG, which obviously if we save money, that passes to you guys. So firstly, people. Because we've invested in the machine, what we've done is substituted humans for depreciation. So we've got fixed costs, and we've been able to take people out of the equation. Now, there are a lot of people that work in this facility, but not as many as you would have in a traditional, conventional grocery warehouse. Training. This is really intuitive. On the VMC side, I tell a story. When we were looking at the system, there's no IT people in here, is there? Okay, we're good. So, when we were looking at the system, we actually went up to Montreal, and we took our CIO with us. We actually had him picking in about 5 minutes in the tote warehouse. It's so intuitive, follow what the system says, and even he was able to do it. So again, we'll be able to train people quicker, which translates to dollars to the bottom line. Safety and compliance. Again, if you look statistically at what we do in a warehouse today and what we ask of our teammates, it's not uncommon for a selector to actually lift 38,000 pounds in a shift. That's huge. With this system, we take a lot of that away, which means less opportunity for accidents, strains, or anything like that. Also, food safety compliance, because we're feeding all the data into the machine and the machine stacks things together, there's going to be greater food safety compliance also. Trans efficiency. You heard James mention it a moment ago, but we'll be able to fill up the trucks more efficiently. We believe we'll get about a 5% increase in cube on the trucks. It doesn't sound a lot, but when you look at hundreds of trucks leaving the facility a day, that's really, really significant. Put that on top of the third 30% tote fill we'll get, that's very, very significant. Again, dollars drop into the bottom line and also providing sustainability. We talked a lot about accuracy, and because we are going to be accurate, there'll be less damage, there'll be less rotation issues, and therefore less food waste. Again, as you look at our organization, we have 3 stakeholders: the member, employees, and the vendor. We believe that this system will significantly help on the vendor side. We'll be able to bring trucks in, we'll be able to turn them quicker, there'll be less damage, less issues on swell allowances and stuff like that. So, why is this so accurate? Here's a summary. When we bring product in, we have to stack it. We take it off the truck, we put it in the machine, sometimes we have to down stack it. We have to measure all the dimensions of that case. Length, width, height. We get the cube of the case. We measure the weight of it. We put it on the pallet. If it doesn't match what we put in the machine to what's in the system, it rejects it. It goes through a contour check. If it doesn't fit through that, i.e. there's an extra case on it, it rejects it and we have to have an interaction. We photograph all the items so we know what's going in. And again, you know, that gives us the ability to track and trace. Traceability through the system. At any point in time, we know where a case is in the system. It's either on a pallet, in a tote, on a tray, or it could be in all 3 situations. So again, we know where everything is at any point in time. 70% of the product that goes through, the grocery product that goes through the facility will actually be picked automatically. So again, we're taking humans out of the mix here, therefore more accurate. Less consolidation, because we'll be able to group things together and maybe put VMC totes with some grocery, less consolidation. And finally, as we get into the tote warehouse, and I know we've had some issues with unit of measure for those of you that have converted already, for the selector, they pick what they see. So there's no mental mathematics that has to occur that says, pick 3, am I picking 1 or am I picking a 3? We actually break it down to a pickable unit. And then when they pick into the totes, it's weight checked as well. If they've picked the wrong product, it rejects it and we check it. So let's look at how this works in reality. So as the cases get picked, we build what we call a pack pattern. As every case is being picked, we know exactly where it's going on the pallet. That's the top left. As it goes into the machine ready to be stacked, we take a picture of it and we see it. We see it being stacked on the far right. As it spits out of the machine on the loading dock, we're taking pictures of it so we see where the product is. We load it on the truck, and then finally, when the pallet reaches your store, we should be scanning it off with POD, proof of delivery. So again, we have full track and trace, which means that we'll get the right product to you guys so you can actually sell the product and make some profit. So as we look at the VMC side of the business, this is a couple of pictures of what VMC look like. I'm guessing most of you haven't been into a VMC facility. But what we have is we have a lot of flow lanes here where we feed from the back and then we pick from the front. As you can see, awful lot of items, and they can get pushed from lane to lane, and it's kind of easy to make some errors. If we translate this to the new world, this is what the tote warehouse looks like in the new world. And there's 2 parts to it. There's a persons to goods part, and there's a goods to person part. So if we look here, well, let's start with repacking first. As product comes in, we actually take it out of the tote, out of the carton, and we put it in this tote here on the top. We're breaking it down into that pickable unit. It then goes off into the machine. It gets put into the correct location where an individual goes and picks from it. They pick from a pick station here. As they're ready to pick, the system will pictorially tell them which way to go. And then there's lights on all of these racks here which tell them which location to pick from and the quantity to pick. They have to confirm when they've picked it. For the really slow-moving items, we have person to goods. This is the bottom right picture here. This is where the donor tote comes to the individual. Picture comes on screen, showing them what to pick. Says pick 2, they pick it, they put it in the tote. As the tote goes through the system, it's weight checked, and then it will reject if there's any issues. Oops. So this is where we need your help. We've got some new assets that we are introducing into the system, and it's really, really crucial we get these back. Firstly, the majority of the product that actually comes out of the system will stack on plastic pallets. Okay, we need them back, please. The totes, we need them back. The same totes are used to deliver to the store as the ones that actually house the product in the AIO. If we don't get them back, we're going to be in all sorts of trouble. The other thing you're going to see is you're going to see lids. Most of the totes will be open, but when we put cigarettes in them or we're stacking something on top of them, we'll actually apply a lid. So there's really 3 assets that we need to get back. When we talk about cigarettes, as we migrate into that, from a security standpoint, cigarettes will be picked into a tote, lid will be automatically placed on top of it, tote will be strapped for security, so no one can get their fingers in there. Okay, so when is all of this going to happen? This is our rollout plan. We're currently in South Haven and VMC Memphis. We've migrated the majority of the case pick from those facilities into the AIO. We then start to migrate each pick into the facility. Mid-year, we start to do fresh frozen, and then towards the tail end of the year, we add extended variety in, cigarettes in, and then also we'll be moving some stores that are closer to the AIO into the facility. So with that, I'm going to pass over to Reed, and there'll be time for questions at the end, I believe. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's just do that. All right, good afternoon. So
The real purpose, obviously, of the new facility is to provide everybody additional product, more product than they've had in their past. If we look at how we are today, AWG's co-op is supplemented widely by the variety that's in VMC. Categories, subcategories in VMC and the grocery department can be dramatically different if you're trying to find something. It's not consistent across the enterprises. AWG functions by case pack or master pack. VMC is a unit of measure, so it's a 1 or it's a 3, which is different. Items can overlap. So you could have in Gulf Coast, you may have an item that is very high volume that's not high volume anywhere else. It may be slotted in that warehouse, and VMC may handle it in their warehouses, but it has a different code, which causes a problem later. Members, you know, you have to look at the VMC and AWG as different entities, right? We're two different businesses today, and we're changing that. And then promotions can run separate from AWG and what's happening also in VMC. If we look at the future state, GM, HBC, Specialty, they're all going to be departments within your distribution center, basically. They're all going to be part of AWG. VMC is going to follow the same unit of measure. Richard talked through that. If you order a 1, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get 1 if that enters whatever that inner pack is. Expanded variety, we talked about grocery, repack, cigarettes, all going into Mid-South, as we call that division. What's that going to do for us? That's going to create a lot of synergy. It's going to cause labor savings for us, and it's going to also increase our variety that comes out to the members. When you're looking for something, how often have you know, sometimes we can't afford to carry the complete line selection in every, we can't carry the whole line extension in every distribution center based on size or based on the SKUs that they currently have. Then you're going to go to the VMC and try to find it. In the new world, it's all going to be listed together. So if you've got 12 Kool-Aid items and you want to carry 14, you're going to see those 14 right there. So you can go easily find them so your store can easily order them. So those line extensions, and there's multiple line extensions that are like that, will all be placed together because the categories and the subcategories are going to be managed the same. Shelf tags, those shelf tags that come out of AIO, those are going to be color-coded, so you'll be able to tell if it's your mainline grocery or if it's coming from AIO. Stocked items, it can change between AIO and division, so sometimes you might have a slower moving item that is in your existing warehouse, and then at some point the decision's been made, we got to discontinue that, right? So if we're going to have to discontinue that, what you're going to get is a discontinued tag because that code number doesn't match up with any code number in VMC today. In the future, if the division decides to discontinue it for whatever reason, when that item becomes discontinued, it's going to go to the AIO division and look for that item because it has that same item code. So before you get a discontinued tag and then someone says, oh wait, we have that in VMC or we have it somewhere else, it's going to actually find that item and it's going to issue you the new tag. Now if the item's discontinued in both, then it's going to be discontinued, but it's going to save a lot of work. So our goals, as David said, you know, in the video earlier, is to provide better variety across the AWG network to all our members, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. How do you have enough variety to compete with your competition? The beauty of AIO is it's going to give us expanded assortment across all temp zones, something we haven't had before. So before it was just ambient with VMC, we're going to be able to expand those temperature zones with AIO and have multiple temps available for expanded variety. It's going to reduce our operational costs, which again come back to the members, fresher product, which I'll get to in a minute, more line extensions, but it's also going to allow the category management team to bring in new programs that maybe we don't have room for today. We don't have the space for. Natural, organic, specialty, plant-based, categories like that where maybe we're not as good as we should be so that we can do better. But to do that, that's a big building, right? It's almost 1 million square feet, 80 feet high, huge. We still have to put decision processes in place that make sense for the co-op and for our members, right? So in that, we have to have, there's operation-based decisions that are going to be made, there's supply chain decisions that are going to be made, and then there's merchandising decisions that have to be made as well. So we kind of put together this crude decision matrix, but it really is what we need. So there's op-based decisions, right? So Richard said he wants to take the smaller items, the slower moving items, get them out of the mainline warehouses, open up spots for higher volume items in your individual divisions, right? So in order to do that, we have to put criteria behind what should go into AIO, what should go into that division. Then we also need to look at the supply chain and what's the cost advantage for us. Is there a cost advantage to move something, or is it just because we need to move it because of the volume of the item? And then there's the merchandising side of the business that really wants to decide, can we bring in new programs? Can we look at programs we couldn't look at before? How do we move forward and continue to grow? So if we look at supply chain enhancements, and we've just really started digging into some of these, and you're going to see that this is all private label examples here. But if you look at just one example is by putting Best Choice raisins and Clearly Organic raisins into AIO, we can save you 7% because we're able to consolidate the trucks, we're able to consolidate the volume, true cost of goods savings, right? Best Choice yeast, Red Star yeast, they ride together as well, you know, and we only have that as a 3% reduction, but it's just an example, and all I wanted to do was give real examples of where we're going to be able to save money. On the supply chain part, Clearly Organic peanut butter, right? Something we want to grow. We want to grow the organic line of business. Really hard because I think that comes in a pallet of like 105, and we sell like 8 per division, right? So instead of putting 840 of these into a building, we can put them into one building and give you fresher product because we're going to have the turns because we don't have to buy as much to put it in there. You got Superior Choice or Best Choice Superior Selections vinegars. They got 7 varieties. They're all low cube. They're all going to come in on a layer at the most. And instead of having all our divisions carrying it, we're going to be able to put it into AIO. The spices and grinders, I mean, there's 12 of those, I guess, not 20. I wanted there to be 20, but there's only 12. Another one of those that why slot that in all our mainline warehouses when we can put it in one location? So I think when you look at us, the decision process, we got to look at those. Where does that make sense? Where do we have problems buying it? How do we get it to our mainline divisions in the first place? And those are the decisions that we'll be making. Then there's programs, right? And one of the ones that we talked about is the zero sugar, sugar-free program, right? So sugar-free is becoming a bigger and bigger thing out there with the unhealthy lifestyles we have. But your division may only have a yellow cake mix and a milk chocolate brownie mix and one of the frostings. So in this case, we're going to give you access to the complete line, right? So you're going to be able to pick your assortment, have a section in your store, have a set. Because if you look at the big box retailers, they're carrying all this stuff, right? Walmart has all this in their stores. They're really into it. High-end chocolate program, another one, right? It's one we can't do today, but we can do it in AIO. We'll have the space to do it, and it's a great category, and it's going to drive a lot of sales for your stores. But today it's something we just can't compete in. And then natural and organic and specialty. I mean, I'm an old produce guy, so I liked organics a lot. But when you start looking at the natural and the specialty food sectors, I mean, those are very important to today's consumers. And it's something where we want to be best in class. We want to be able to meet all your needs, ethnic needs. You know, ethnic's another one. When you look at certain divisions have a lot of Hispanic products, certain divisions don't. But you may need that for some of your stores. You're going to have access to that. So a lot of opportunities to continue to grow the variety. The decision processes, we have to put rigid decision processes in place just so that we can manage the influx of product that's going in there because we can fill a 1 million square foot warehouse, but we just don't want to fill it with product that's not going to sell. So with that, I think Jason was giving me the high 5, the high 4. So with that, I guess we'll turn it over to questions. You can turn all your questions to Richard. Thank you. Richard, no questions. All right. Thank you.